good afternoon, and welcome to today's edition of The Buzz. And of course, it's the program that keeps you updated on what's trending on social media. It's indeed a pleasure to be here on this lovely Thursday afternoon. It's the 22nd of February 2018, and we're set to bring it to you as it trends. My name is Patience Bello-Kafo. Alera is here as well. Good afternoon, Alera.
Good afternoon, Patience. And I pretty get excited once it's a Thursday. Maybe because we get to discuss lifestyle.
Because you like Beboro topics.
Like, seriously. Like, everything we get to do on the boards is more or less, it's not even like Beboro.
Yeah.
What's actually trending on social media.
We say it as it is.
So, Thursday is being set aside as lifestyle and relationship Thursdays. Seems to be interested and some kind of like funny topics. Get a crop up on this day.
Okay, we are not alone on the show. We have a full panel joining us this afternoon, and sitting close to me and making a first appearance on this show. Even though she's always been like a regular on previous programs I've anchored, it's a pleasure to have her join us. She is a minister of God. She's also an author. She's written a couple of books, and she is a gospel artist. It's a pleasure to have Pastor Dolly join us on the show. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for
Good
coming.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right. And of course, the only man amongst us, he's blessed amongst women. But I know he can hold his own ground because he is a lawyer, and you know what that means. So he can handle 4 women at the same time. It's a pleasure to have Barrister Jimmy Abia with us on the show. Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us. And also another first-timer on the program this afternoon. She is our able colleague. Able colleague, Nkem Kali Obi. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, you know how we roll on the program. We urge you to make use of all of our social media portals to interact with us on the show today.
That's using the hashtag The Buzz on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Galaxy TV, and also on Twitter at official Galaxy TV. Knowing that you could get watch previous editions of The Buzz, or what you need to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, Galaxy TV Nigeria.
Or you can also interact by sending us an SMS only, to the number 0708 5407508. The number again is 0708 5407508. The number will be on the screen for you to use. Please do not call the line, just send an SMS. All right, panel. It's a lovely afternoon. Let's look at social media. And of course, we're debuting with the topic that we've tagged, when is it rape? When exactly is it rape? We all have like a general knowledge of what rape is, you know, especially when it occurs between a man and a woman of consenting age, if you know what I mean. But a story came up on social media recently, and this sort of like gave a new perspective to the word rape, and it went viral because a lot of prominent people gave their own opinion on what it is. So I'll just read excerpts from, you know, the long thing on social media. Now, this guy, of course, we don't know what his name is, but according to his story, he worked as a copper in the same office with this young lady sometime late last year. Now, every guy in the office, including me, that's the guy, was crushing on this girl, but nobody like made a move on her. He didn't make a move on her because he didn't want to compete and all of that. But anyways, after service and after they stopped working there, they became closer. And somehow the whole thing, you know, graduated into what people would call like almost a relationship and all of that. But to cut a very long story short, this particular evening, the girl came visiting the boy, and they went out together, they had dinner, they came back home, and things got a bit heated up. And of course, one thing led to the other. The girl had to take a shower in his house, wore his shirt. She was naked underneath, went on the bed. And of course, you know, every able young man would take that as an invitation. And he went on bed with her, and something ensued. And along the line, in the midst of all of that, the girl began to resist, you know, and to say no, you know, and all of that. And the guy, the young man, was already almost in cloud 9, and he wanted to reach destination. so he held her down and made sure he accomplished. Now the big question is, okay, before we get to the big question, the lady came online and made a lot of noise and said she was raped by him, because at that point she said no, he should have stopped. But the guy said, you know, I pleasured you. I mean, it was only right that you return the favor and all of that. So he felt he was also justified, you know, and all of that. The question is, you know, withdrawal of consent. When is it proper, you know, for us to establish what we want or what we do not want in terms of sexual activity with the opposite sex? And when really does it become rape? I want us to start with Barrister Abia, because you're the lawyer, obviously. So we start from what the law actually says about giving consent or withdrawing it in matters like this.
Okay, and before Barrister gets to say something, I guess some parts, Patience missed some parts of the story there. The main thing is the girl actually got to a climax and resisted. That I'm sure we will both understand, so.
Yeah, I've come across that story.
Okay.
It was actually a heated one.
Yes.
Even lawyers argued on it, and were on different sides.
Yes.
You know, on it. But let me start with defining rape. Rape is the unlawful carnal knowledge of a woman or girl without her consent, or where there is consent. The consent is obtained by fraud, by intimidation, by threats, by also misrepresentation, or that is making her feel that it is somebody she knows. You know, I don't know how that's going to happen in reality. Maybe wearing a mask and presenting yourself as her boyfriend or her husband, and then
these guys.
These are the instances where rape, you know, could be committed. So, and rape is complete under Nigerian law. Rape is complete upon penetration. That used to mean that only a woman or girl can be raped. Okay. However, under the sexual the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, it now includes you know, that a man can actually be raped, because when somebody exposes his or her sexual organs to another you know, in order to invite the person to commit a sexual act, that also is now a sexual.
Wow.
Yes. Then also, it's also under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, which was passed into law and signed into law in 2015. Rape also includes where there is penetration of the mouth with any object. Now, it doesn't have to be with a sexual organ. Penetration of the anus with any object, you know, could also amount to rape. So now a man can be raped by a man, and can also be raped by a woman. A woman can also be raped, you know, but strictly going by the criminal code definition and the penal code, it's only a woman that can be raped. But the point is that for penetrative rape, it is complete upon penetration. So at the point where there is penetration, there is rape. Even if the person at that point decides to withdraw, the offense of rape has already been committed. Wow. No matter how slight the penetration is. But before penetration, it could be other offenses. It could be sexual. It could be some form of sexual molestation, harassment, or whatever. But once there is penetration, it becomes a rape. Yes.
But in this case, though, this is a very peculiar one, you know, in the sense that the young lady seemed, you know, to have been in agreement with the man, you know, up until that point, you know, and the man felt they were, you know, in it together.
Yeah.
Let's be practical about this. He felt they were in agreement in what was going on. And then midway, it was even past midway, you know, because one person had already reached Uhuru and the other was still struggling to make his way. And then you say no. Is there any corner? Is there any way we can manipulate the law to look at this this guy's feelings at all.
Well, the point is that there's no decided Nigerian case on that.
Okay.
And the law in Nigeria isn't quite clear on that, we must agree. Isn't quite clear on whether consent can be withdrawn at any time. Because that's the question, the real question, you know, going by what the issues raised there, is whether consent can be withdrawn at any time.
Yes.
Okay, I have reached my climax. Okay, no, I've withdrawn my consent. Okay, that's the question. But that question is not clear, you know, from the law. Some have said, indeed, that's a preponderance of opinions, which are, from what I have seen online from lawyers in Nigeria, are saying that if rape is complete upon penetration, consent should also be complete upon penetration. So if consent existed at the point which there was penetration, then that means that consent should continue until now. What some have said, I'll come to the other side. What some have said is that if that consent was given and penetration occurs, now unless the penetration stops at any point and you want to start it all over again for any reason, whether it is you know, by whatever reason, so long as that particular act of penetration, not another act of penetration, ends and you want to continue again, it could be rape. But so long as that the particular consented one, the particular as so long as part one is continuing, you cannot say the consent has been negative at any point. This tallies with the view of the court in North Carolina in the United States, where the position of the Supreme Court of North Carolina is that consent cannot be negatived until that particular act is completed. However, in those countries, in most Western nations, and even in the United States, some other states have it that consent can be withdrawn at any time. Consent that even if the act has started and the one person says, no, I am no longer doing it. You are supposed to stop. You are supposed to, you know, stop at that point.
Okay.
So
let's hear from you.
Going through the story because I actually saw it and I was laughing all through. Okay, maybe I need something to hit my head for me to wake up to reality. I see no rape in this whole thing.
Really?
I'm someone that can fight for women. I can stand my ground and say, man, it's rape. Let's go and fight war. But this one, there's no war in it because when you read the story, the guy said she kissed him first. That was the whole story. You kissed the guy first. You let the guy on, and you made the guy reach Ibadan.
Yes.
And now you got into Kaduna. You don't want the guy to get to Sokoto. Come on, tell yourself the truth. The guy needs to get to Sokoto.
Yes.
Because you've got to your junction. So you leaving your house late in the night, going to a guy's house. You're already telling this guy, I'm not going to go home, and spending the night with you. So you want to go to a guy's place and you want to go home. You know you have to get there in the morning and leave there before noon. But you go that night and you guys go to the movie. Yeah. There's still time home.
Yes.
You didn't go home.
And you came back.
And you went back to his house. You took
a shower.
Took a shower. You even had
wore his shirt.
Wore his shirt without pint and bra. Babe, Abba.
All right, let's bring in the pastor. Okay, all right. Morally, and I'm sure spiritually, is even wrong.
All right, let's hear your view.
Okay. My own view, which is actually the scripture's view, is that from the beginning, the whole thing started being wrong, and it ended wrong.
Yes.
Because now, you set somebody on. Like I always tell young girls, sometimes when they dress, I always tell them, what are you selling? If you don't have anything that you are selling, you don't advertise. You advertise what you're selling. By the time you look nude, you understand, semi-covering kind of stuff. It shows you are telling somebody out there, come and buy. And when the person comes to buy, you are now accusing the person of rape. You gave the invitation. You open the door. And you know that by the time a man gets to that point, It's a point of no return. No. You took him to that point of no return. You want him to return. How is he going to return? He can't return. You invited him, let him finish what you invited him to start. That's it.
Wow, interesting.
Well, the girl is actually feeling that the girl in question went ahead. She was even the one that went to start telling other colleagues that XYZ got
raped me.
raped me, and the guy was like, please, you Nigerians, come and help me. Is this rape?
Okay, but barrister, she's threatening to sue. Are there grounds for any legal anything here?
Yeah, yes, there are grounds.
Okay.
There are grounds. She could actually bring up an action. Of course, it is for the court to consider. So the court will not stop somebody, from approaching the court. Okay. The question is, what evidence would she put before the court, to convince the court that there was actually rape? At what point was did the rape actually start? But let me come to something. Some other opinions. Because the reason why I'm bringing this is because there's no decided case yet on it. So we will have to put these things on the table so that we will consider both. Now, this lady may be a bad case for withdrawal of consent. Yeah. But there are also some other instances that may make a good case for withdrawal of consent at any point. Assuming somebody is asthmatic, and at that point the attack comes. Yes. And she is just under pressure and simply wants to get out of this and take care of herself.
Take her medication or something.
Okay. Wow, do you understand? That's a thought. Wouldn't we say that it would have been right for the law to provide an opportunity for her to escape and to take care of herself? Yes. Now, what if this person penetrated and then, calmly at first, and then started becoming violent at one point? Would you say that there wouldn't be a proper case for withdrawal of consent at that point? So that's why there are other reasons why. Okay, you might also, maybe she thought initially that this person was protected. Was using protection.
Okay. And then she found out.
And then she found out that this person was not using protection, or that the protection which this person is using is damaged. Wouldn't it be right for her to say, I withdraw my consent at this point and let it stop at that point? Okay. So that's why we need to consider it from both sides. She may not, this particular case in point may not be a good case. You see, that's why I always say that let us not, if we actually glorify people who make false claims, what it will mean is that when people make the right claims, it will be difficult to believe them. It will be difficult to make a case out for them. Do you understand? So that's where it is proper to always situate every case. This particular one may not be a good case for her and a good case for rape victims. But I tell you, there is a good case for withdrawal of consent to exist within our laws.
Okay, at any point in time during the act.
Yes.
All right, so at that point she says no, even though she has said yes from the beginning, and then she says no. Okay. The man is supposed to stop.
It's supposed to. Because if you check the implications, the possible implications of not stopping, it could be more dire than where. I mean,
but the guy was anything backing the guy up. I am not in support of rape in any way, but let's look at it from even the angle of the guy as well.
Because I'm sure the guy's mind would have been, you would have probably said stop before you even got to climax. Do you understand? But why is it that it was when you now got to climax and you're like, stop?
It seemed a bit selfish.
And ladies who say people being protected those are things they should sort out.
Even before the act. Even before the act started.
Tail end of the whole
almost
thing,
the tail
before
end.
You now say, oh, you are not protected and all those stuff. Those things are
exactly.
This thing is supposed to be a thing that is done out of love.
What if the protection gets damaged at one point?
At times,
the other person should also know.
At times they'll say no, stop, and their attitude at that
doesn't
point
say no.
This doesn't say no.
So
when there's some kind of say she's saying no.
Was she aggressive about? Well, I want to believe she was a bit aggressive because according to the story, he pinned her down. at that
I mean, she
point.
was stubborn then.
So I want
Yeah.
to believe she became a bit aggressive and he had to exert force. But anyways, our viewers are not left out in this discussion. Bolaji from Mushi says the guy did not rape her. What would you say before? All right, this other one says, please, when you have the complete requirement to apply for a job, won't you be accepted? You might even be begged to work there. So the lady you talked about got what she was looking for. All right, that girl should stop pretending, for she actually invited the boyfriend by exposing her sensitive and enticing part of her body in the presence of a man. Her exposure could have even attracted a male dog or goat. Wow, wow, that's on another level. This other one says, in fact, that guy raped the girl since it was not her will at that time. So you see, people have diverse opinions. Yeah, but then Pastor Dolly, based on what you said, I think I need to say something about that. You were talking about when girls dress indecently and all of that, you're inviting. I know that for any young lady who has any 2 kobo sense, you should know that you should dress appropriately. You know, you should at least cover up. But not dressing properly is not an excuse to be raped. Let's put that out there so people don't use that as an excuse and say, after all, now only bra she wear. Even if she's naked,
No,
and you know, and standing on top of her head, as long as she did not say yes, you don't have an excuse.
Another thing
It's not an
again is
excuse.
most of the girls that dress semi-nude, hardly do they get to come out and say they are being raped. It's even the ones that get to cover up that are always raped.
Yes,
Yes.
they get raped, yeah.
Those ones that are almost naked don't get raped.
Or they get raped, but they move on because, you know, it's part of life anyway. It could happen. All right, this one, Euphemia from Lawansin says, in my own understanding, I didn't see that as rape. Let me ask, what is she doing in a man's house by that time of the night? All right, hello Galaxy. Nigeria needs prayer. Okay, we'll visit your issue later. Good day, peeps. I'm Tosin from Colinton. I have no blame in that because what happened wasn't rape. She needs it and it's given to wow, let's try and write in English. This other one says, to me the girl wanted it. Dele from Ikeja. Dele from Ikeja says the girl was not raped because she started what she could not finish. Body no be firewood. Now, it's just pretense. All right, we know body is not firewood, but like the lawyer has said, you could go to jail for up to 14 years. So let's be careful with you know, the way we have sexual relations with women. Once she says no, stop. Even if she's your wife. I'm sure a lot of men don't know that even married women, wives can say no because of one thing or the other, and you are not, because you are the husband, supposed to pin her down. And
I guess the pinning down.
I say, after all, I paid bride price. It is
actually
rape.
rape.
Yes.
The
It is
pinning
rape.
down. Yeah.
Yes, it is rape. Okay, we have to move on to the next topic, which is polygamy, and I think it's becoming more and more rampant these days. But before we discuss polygamy, yesterday it broke on social media on a live television program somewhere in Ghana. A Ghanaian boxer came on a live show, and a Ghanaian comedian, I have to emphasize, they are all Ghanaians, all right? You know, a Ghanaian comedian was also a co-guest on the same live show. And you know how comedians can be a bit forward? I think he made a remark about the hairstyle of the boxer, which is outrageous, by the way, you know, and he got the beating of his life right there on the live show. Of course, we monitor social media, and our social eye caught it. Let's show you the clip, and then we'll move to the next topic.